Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Today in San Francisco, I have my amazing mommy who came to visit. Say hi.
Hello.
Today, we're just going to be talking a little bit about how to raise a queer child and some pros and cons about doing that. So the first question I wanted to ask you was, when was the first time you thought that maybe I was a queer child?
You know, I don't know if there was a first time. There were certain things. I think the one thing that really made me go, was when you were in high school and there was just, I knew you were going through puberty, and I know the typical heterosexual boy is going through his hormones and he really likes a lot of girls. There was many girls that just loved you, and as the years through high school went, I started going, you don't like any of them? But I think there's always been a little something, so when you did come out, it wasn't shocking.
So pro tip number one, never assume anything about your child. That's a big one. You also said that you weren't in a rush to figure anything out. What would you say to parents on how to support their queer and possibly questioning child?
Well, I know one thing I definitely did was I didn't want to label you. I think I just tried to always take opportunities to make sure you knew I was extremely open. So if there was an opportunity that I was able to say, you know, that gay couple, God, that's just... I just tried to always be supportive for the LGBT community, so that if you were, that you would know, you know what, my mom is so open. I wanted to make sure you always would feel comfortable coming to me.
And so what would you say to parents who possibly, like myself, came out as gay and then started questioning their gender and then went back and forth on their sexuality again and are constantly evolving? What would you say to parents who may not see that as like normal, or who might think that is a phase?
Well, it's definitely not a phase. I just tried to always be supportive for the LGBT community. The number one thing I think I try to do, that I hope you agree, everybody's like, oh, okay, I know what gay means. When I started learning about queer and the different terms that kids go by, I had to really educate myself. And a lot of the things you had to teach me and educate me so I could be a better support to you.
That's true. So working with your mom and dad and parents in general and family is very important. Regarding terminology, what would you say to parents who their child tells them that they want to use different pronouns?
Oh, I think that's extremely supportive. I just, whatever they need.
And what about children that possibly want to do a name change or go through like hormone therapy?
Well, I think any serious decision, if a child comes to you and says, you know, I want to take hormones or I want to transition or anything, again, I think you want to be supportive. I would always support you no matter what your decision was or is. But I think there are certain decisions that, depending on your kid's age, I think you need to help educate them too.
Another question I have is, how did you feel when I came out? I think my junior year.
I definitely wasn't shocked. I do remember going to bed and feeling very roller coaster emotions. I think my main concern was I was scared how people would treat you. Was really worried because, you know, you're my child and I want you safe and stuff, and there are a lot of uneducated people in this world, and support them to be the best person that they are and to love themselves for who exactly they are.
Also, but I think that some parents, this fear that their child might be like harmed or sexually harassed or something.
Yes, that was mine.
I feel that that's often sometimes a really big obstacle that parents push forward and don't let their child be who they are.
I agree.
So what would you say to parents who are dealing with that issue?
I would rather you live your life happy and who you are.
My last question for the day is, how do you think parents, and yourself, if you want to provide any evidence, how did you feel when I decided to go to San Francisco, this super queer city, kind of like a queer haven for the world?
Oh, that was my number one goal since the minute you popped out of your mom's stomach.
Great.
Was to just, I missed you and I went home and I cried, and it was such a really sad moment, but my goal was to always raise a child that is independent and that's going to go through life as an independent person and not always need mom and dad. And San Francisco, I thought always from the beginning, is the perfect fit.
Okay, well, let's give it one more round of applause for our mommy for coming.